What's up YouTube, Max Clausen here. Today I'm going to be bringing you a deck profile of my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. I know it's been a while since I did a deck video on this type of deck, but been through quite a lot of stuff since then, but I'm happy to be bringing this old school deck back. One of my favorites, and I've been playing with it a little bit more recently and still got the mojo. So I'm going to be showing you the main, extra, and side, so let's jump right into it. Obviously, as we all know, you're going to start off with 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. Can never have a deck without it. It's your ace monster. Next, you're going to be rocking Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. Once per turn, you can pop a face-up monster on the field, but then this card can't attack directly that same turn. But keep in mind, the card says this card. So if you happen to be able to switch it out and then bring the same thing back, then it can attack directly. Next, we're going to be rocking 2 Dragon Spirit of White. I remember I ran this at 1, but that was a little too sad. So, a friend recommended I bump it back up to 2. And it's always working out. I never really have too much of a dead draw with it. When it's normal special, you can banish a spell or trap card. And then if your opponent controls a monster, you can tag it out for a Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand. So it's pretty good monster. Next, rocking the Galaxy Soldier engine. Since everything in this deck is a light type, why not run it? If you don't know what its effect is, you reveal this card, ditch a card in your hand, and special summon it. And then once that happens, you can add a copy of himself or any Galaxy monster or card. But since it's only himself in his deck, you can add a copy of himself and do the same thing for your rank 5 plays. Next, gonna be rocking with the tuners. You're gonna be keeping up with 3 Sages with Eyes of Blue. Very needed monster in the deck. When it's normal summon, you can add a level 1 light tuner from your deck to your hand. And then when it's in your hand, you can send it and the face-up effect monster on your field to special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck. Pretty good. You always want to keep that monster at 3. Next, you're gonna have 3 Ancient Stone of White. When this card is during the end phase, this card was sent to the graveyard. Special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck, and then its graveyard effect, you can banish it and then return 1 Blue Eyes card from your grave to your hand. Sorry, I had a little brain fart. Next, you're gonna be rocking the 2 Effect Veilers and 1 Master with Eyes of Blue. Effect Veilers for obviously stopping monsters that you don't want to have their effects off. And Master with Eyes of Blue is still a very powerful tuner in this deck and game overall. When he's normal summon, you can target 1 level 1 light tuner in your grave and add it straight back to your hand. So he's a good monster for Sage and Veiler. And then if he's in the grave, you can shuffle him back into the deck and then target 1 effect monster on your field, send it to the graveyard, and then special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your grave. That's it for the monsters. As always, it's 20 monsters altogether. Next up for the spells, you're going to be running all the time 3 Melodies of Awakening. Discard a card and add 1 monster and then add 1 dragon with 3,000 more attack and 2,500 defense from your deck to your hand. So obviously get your alternatives and Blue Eyes. Next up, you're going to always run in your trade-ins. Discard a level 8 and draw 2 cards. Since you have a total of 8 monsters in this deck. Yeah, I did a little count. Next, you're running 3 Monster Reborn of the deck. Gospel of Revival or Return of the Dragon Lords. I preferably call it Gospel. Target 1 level 7 or 8 dragon type monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And if a dragon or dragons would be destroyed during your turn by battle or card effect, you can banish this card instead. And that does not activate. You can just banish it. So it's like 1-on-1. No matter what anybody tells you. Next, you run 3 Twin Twisters. My one friend always talks about how it's awkward that I have 3 Twin Twisters in this deck. But you need to understand, with the Blue Eyes and this type of build and meta, it has a lot of stuff that it likes to have in the graveyard. So you can have your stones, your master, and quite a lot of other things that combo in the graveyard. So 3 is pretty good in this deck. and beside you always side it out. And then 2 Silver's Cry. Pretty self-explanatory. Target 1 normal dragon monster. Spread summon it, but he can only use this once per turn. And then the new addition to the deck, 2 Pot of Desires. I'm not gonna lie, I was always very iffy about this card in the Blue Eyes deck, but I've always seen high meta Blue Eyes players running this, so I was like, I finally gave in and decided to run it inside. I'm not gonna lie, ever since I put it in, I have been getting very decently good draws with it, and only once I've banished some of the cards I needed, but I always still come out on top. So it's pretty decent. It's got the okay in my it's got my okay for Blue Eyes. Next for your 1-ofs, the 1 Regeki. The 1 Book of Moon, since we're not in the non-targeting format anymore, Book of Moon is reliable again. And it saves you from dying 1 turn. And then your win condition, Soul Charge. So for the spells, I think that was 19 spells. And then you get 1 Vanity's Emptiness. Can easily be swatched out for 1 more spell card or a Solemn Strike, Solemn Warning or such. But having your perfect field with, say, like a Blue Eyes, a Crystal Wing, and some other Hope Harbinger, and then this, you pretty much just win. There you go. That's the deck. That's literally 40 cards altogether. Now for the extra deck, you're going to be running the 2 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Still a very powerful monster. While this card is face up on the field, neither player can special summon more than 2 monsters at a time, so Pendulum and Soul Charging can only be done by 1. And in any graveyard effects that would activate, he can negate it once, and then during either player's turn, he can tag himself out for any light dragon type synchro monster, but then it's destroyed at the end phase. So it's still a very powerful synchro monster. Always be number 1 in my book. One of his targets right here is Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. Pretty self-explanatory effect, since it's a very old card. The turn it's special summon, all dragon type monsters you currently control, including himself, are unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of the next turn. Next for your 8s, you're going to be running the 1 Crystal Wing, the 1 Starter Spark Dragon, because it was brought to my attention that why not run Spark, since you'll have an even more powerful field and another monster for rank 8 plays. 1 Michael and 1 Moonlight, wrapping up the synchros. Moonlight for bouncing back some monsters, and Michael for the banishment. And then sometimes I use his mill effect and then let him get destroyed. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's just to thin the deck out a little more. Next, for the 1 Fusion, you do want to run the 1 Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. People who do not run this guy are kind of crazy, just putting it simply. For the simple fact, he can't die by battle, and he can attack twice per turn. Well, twice per turn if you have a monster on the field, if I remember correctly of him. And if he doesn't destroy a monster, that monster is banished. So he's a very powerful fusion monster, and what Blue Eyes kind of needed. And he's a contact fusion of it, so you don't have to use a poly. Next, for your XCs, you're going to be running the 1 number 95 Dark Matter. Pretty good. Obviously, if you don't know what the effect is, when you summon, if you can, send 3 dragon monsters of different names to the graveyard, and your opponent must choose 3 monsters of their own to banish. And then he can detach to destroy up to 2 monsters during the battle phase. 1 Galaxy Eyes Full Armor. Its effect, if you don't know what it is, detach to pop a face-up card on the field. Then 1 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon. Just used to summon this guy. But if you don't need to, during the battle phase, when you enter it, you can detach the material, then everything face-up is negated, other than itself. And I believe he gains 500 for each. No, it just gains 1,000 attack points. Oh, so he becomes 4. He becomes even stronger. Then you're rocking the Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon. Pretty good monster in this format now, since there's a lot of people playing Zodiacs and stuff like that. This detached material, steal a monster, and if it's an XC's monster, you can actually rank that up into full armor, if you didn't know that. Anything else, you can't rank it up, so it has to be an XC's monster to do that. Next, you're running your other win condition, Hope Harbinger, negate a spell, and any attack that would be targeted to one other monster is targeted. You can detach a material to make him the attacking target instead. And if an Xyz monster on your field is destroyed by a battle or card effect, I believe, just by battle or card effect, he gains the attack points equal to that. Then you're running the Cyber Dragon engine, since we have the Galaxy Soldiers. This for the main and extra, and now on to the side. I am running in the 2 Ghost Ogre because there are a lot of cards now that need to be resolved on the field. Something face-up activates like a Junk Synchron or Crystal Wing, stuff like that. Just pitch and destroy it, but it doesn't negate the effect, however. But you do get the card off the field. Next is the 2 Gamma Seals. I will be switching these up with super ones very soon, guys. I'm sorry it's been a while. But super ones are coming in the mail, so that's a nice up. Still rocking the system down for those machine decks, such as, I believe the Dynamis are machine. Yeah, Dynamis, Cybers, ABCs, if you're still running them, and Cosmos, which is still a thing apparently. You run the 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance. In this deck, it's kind of scary because the majority of your deck is spells along with monsters. But you usually get all your plays off either first or second, mid-second turn. So using this isn't really going to hurt you too much. Then the Storming Mirror Force to bounce everything back. I would definitely replace this with Quaking whenever I change this deck into the Chaos version. Then we run the Solemn Brigade and the 1 Skill Drain, a new card. Since I do have a lot of powerful beat stick monsters and they don't really need to use their effects for much of anything, just flip this up. Your monster's effects, your opponent's will negate it, and then you pretty much win. Alright, so that is it for the new and improved Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe for more content. It really helps me out. And if you believe there's even more things that can make this deck even more consistent and powerful, leave it down in the comments below. There was a few saying I should run Vermilion Tech, but that only works in some other decks that have a better array of tuners that you have no problem banishing, but not this deck. But anyway, like, comment, rate, subscribe, share, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, and in my fluffer video, I have a Patreon, if you didn't see that yet, and that will be in the description below. So if you want to help me become an even better content creator and help me out even more, go and check that out. It'll also be very much appreciated. Alright, see you guys later.